Hands-on, job site performing one of these 3 types of pours mentioned. This looks exactly like they took that job at Cherry Creek. No, it ain't, because this guy is in total non-compliance right there. That's why we'll be adjusting. We're already working on adjusting the foundations. Andy's already commented on making some good adjustments that'll better the classes and get the proper pictures in here as well. But not kidding, that down here, that truck and that looks just like the end of Cherry Creek, tighter than shit. Analyzing the differences. I mean, we pretty much talked, right? Suspended's going in the air. A good example is what Taylor found out at Centennial is the architect and the owner is trying to save so much money. They went in there and under-designed the steel that he can't even put a 10,000 pound scissor lift on his deck. So now in our contracts, all these subs are bidding in their own lifts, or they're going to rent from us, right? Now you got to do it all off of a ladder. What'd that do to your schedule? You're going to have some pissed off subcontractors, huh? Because you're going to ride them like a dog to meet the schedule that you put together before we had all that input. And then you're making adjustments, and he's dealt with it. And I think we got it to the point that we are going to be able to do a scissor lift, right? But it comes with strength of concrete, curing process, etc. Determining the admixtures. Know the specifications that are required for the project, void content, toughness, durability. We kind of talked about that earlier. The qualities of a pervious concrete mixture, and are you using supplementary cementitious materials, which the most common one is fly ash. Start getting into power plants and beef packing plants, you'll go into the slag situation. Airports, runways and stuff, they'll use silica fume, but that all comes from availability, right? And as time goes on, and as we quit or do more burning of coal, people are starting to use the clinkers for road base. The clinkers is what becomes the fly ash that supplements the lead green energy at 20% per cubic yard. So if you got 6 sacks in a cubic yard at 91 pounds a bag, 20% of that is fly ash. Fly ash reduces the set time, gains you longevity, strength, more brittle than cement. Cement's going to get you there faster, but hydrate faster as well. So in the summertime, fly ash was always pretty good, unless it's air entrained. And we'll talk about that here a little bit later, whenever it pops up. Aggregates, dry, rotted, at the unit weight. So the unit weight from your testers. How many of you guys have ever been with a third party and they do their cylinder, and the minute they stab it 25 times, 3 or 4 scoops, 25 times, 3 or 4 scoops, 25 times, that's consolidation, like a vibrator. Then they scrape that top off and then they weigh it, right? That weight is crucial to the volume of concrete you're getting on the job, whether it's a lightweight concrete or a regular weight concrete, because that calculates to if you're getting a true yard, and if you're getting the true percentage of 0.99 of a yard, or is it over-calculated and you're getting 1.1. Old school days, it was right around a 0.90. You never got a full 27 cubic feet per yard because nobody's scale could ever get it that fine-tuned. You're dropping rock out of silos, right? So how are you weighing that? It's coming from a volume situation. And hopefully my classes go through this. I might have mentioned to you guys before with Martin Marietta, they did one class last year and we didn't get it out on bridge soon enough, but it's 101. It's transportating, figuring out how you're going to pump it, you're going to telebelt it, however, and then actually a field trip to a batch plant to watch a truck pull underneath, watch them hit their buttons, the aggregate, the sand, washed or not, the cement, and then the admixtures. It's all done chemically, almost like if you could envision like some of these breweries that you can see the beer going through the tube. That's what you're seeing is those chemicals, and it's all calibrated by millimeters, and that's how they're batching it. But a lot of batch companies can't do 10-yard mixes. So they do 4 or 6, and then they got to hit that truck twice. Then there's always a tailwater. And usually they call the tailwater at the plant If that goes in too fast, you end up with basketballs. Goes in too slow, your concrete's already setting up. The tailwater I talk about is what's on your ticket. So you always want to look at your ticket when you're looking at the mud, because it'll say 1 or 2, and max will be 3 yards per cubic, 3 gallons, 1 to 3 gallons per cubic yard added. And if you do that and you stick to that and you do it in front of the tester with the truck driver there, no harm done. You didn't mess with the water cement ratio. It's when you go past that number on the ticket that you mess with the water cement ratio. And that's what makes it hard with you guys. When you guys are adding a sack of cement, we can't add water. But that sack of cement's drying it up even faster. And if you start getting into that 50, 60 minute time, you're flashing because there's no stabilizer.
Yeah, those bucket pours.
Right, bucket pours stink. So that's a thought process there in placing, right? And spacing of trucks, because you could get a truck and he might not show up. Why? Because he's sitting 6 blocks away and you can't see him and he's on the radio. Oh, we're ready for you, and he's 50 minutes old, right? You got 40 minutes to get it out, but you got a 1 yard bucket, you got 10 picks. Even if you're rotating that 6 to 8 minutes, you're over on time. So downsize the size of the truck. Order less yards, and I'd rather wait 5 to 10 minutes because I get my liquid head pressure to set up so I don't blow my formwork up, but I get a fresh truck on the job and he wasn't sitting down around the corner on you. And how many times do you get stressed as hell when you got 6 trucks backed up to the pump and you ain't even got the first test done? Oh my God, I hate those days. Yeah, and if it's gonna be pumped, right? So that's where it comes into your hoses, your pipes, and overhead. And then think about, always talk to the finisher, and with Brundage, because we just got done signing, Jared just signed the next 2-year contract with them to hold our wages and surcharges on fuel and stuff like that. Brundage, or Martin Marietta doesn't do that. It's just a purchase order. But they hold their numbers for us pretty good and give us a heads up. But if you're gonna pump, we need to think about this in the beginning of the job, of how far you're gonna go, what's your longest distance. And I usually have a good idea of that because I've gone through all the on-screen takeoffs in the budget with Nick. So when I meet with one of you guys out on the job for a pre-install, we're gonna go through that stuff and say, hey, on this mix, we need to go to a super plasticizer, right? Or we wanna use a finishable grout. We used to call it a primer. So I used to use the slurry packs, right? Then we'd get grout and we dilute it and send it through, and architects and engineers started seeing problems in their floors and the clients, because you're basically putting a 1500 PSI out on the slab with a 4,000 or 5,000 pound mix. And your finishers will leave you a wet spot because the whole floor, 10,000 square feet set up, and that 600 square feet in the corner is wet. And they'll walk. And then somebody's going, we need to grind this down before the floor guys come in, huh? So it's just things to keep in mind. And whether it's rubber and steel as well.